Hey, what's going on, guys? Migzuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a Silverquill Magecraft deck for standard best of one. So this style of Magecraft deck has been cropping up a lot in the past couple days, whether it be Orzhov, Boros, Mono White, Azorius. This sort of clever Lumimancer Leonin Lightscribe package, along with a million instant sorcery spells, has been going absolutely nuts. And this Orzhov version is inspired by the one that Croaky's played a couple days ago. And it's also my favorite version because it runs a lot of the newer cards and it's playing one of the newer schools. And I just think that copying the spell a million times with Plum and triggering Magecraft like that is just, it's just so fun. So we're going to be running this version of it today. We'll go over the new cards really quickly because while they are new, they are fairly popular. A lot of people are running this style of deck. As you know, the Lumimancer, 1 white mana. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+2. And we have the Lightscribe. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, creatures you control get +1/+1. So these are our two main aggressive creatures. We want to cast a million spells to trigger them and their Magecraft abilities. So we run Clarion Spirit, which isn't new, but is a key component to the deck. Basically incentivizes us to cast multiple spells each turn, which we're already doing, and it makes a lot of spirits that are great sacrifice fodder for cards like Plum the Forbidden, which basically is the main reason we're in black. We have a couple other reasons, but Plum's the main one. So it reads 1 in a black, you draw a card and lose a life, but you can basically copy this card for each other creature you sacrifice. So Clarion Spirit gives us a lot of spirits to sacrifice to copy this a million times and trigger Magecraft a million more times, which is really fun. And it also gasses us back up. So if your opponent survives a massive hit from the Lumimancers, Light Scribes, and whatever else you have laying around, then you are all the way gassed up to hopefully do it again. Other new cards we have Vanishing Verse. Basically, I've played with this card before in like 3 of my videos. I'm playing a lot of black-white. But yeah, exile target monocolored permanent. Absolutely crazy. Very versatile removal spell. I would be running 4, but I'm running into a lot more Winota than I used to because of that Lorehold deck I posted a couple days ago. I'm not saying it's because of me, but I'm saying like that style of deck has been cropping up too. And Winota is a must-kill multicolored permanent, so we do have a Heartless Act in the deck for that type of matchup. And sometimes the exile doesn't matter and you just need a 2-mana removal spell, and Heartless Act does the job. Other new cards and reasons to be in black-white. Humiliate. We are best of one, so it could be a little slow, but we are aggressive, and being able to pick apart a sort of combo-y player's hand or like an ultimatum player's hand can be really useful. And we typically have a 1-drop in the Lumimancer to put the counter on, and sometimes just putting on a dog is okay. Other new cards we got the Guiding Voice. So we put a +1/+1 counter on something and we learn. This is kind of like a cantrip. It doesn't draw a card per se, but it gets us a guaranteed other sorcery card to trigger Magecraft another time. We'll go over the lesson board very quickly. We have Environmental Sciences, just gain some life, fix your mana, maybe hit your next land drop. Remove a thing. Exile a creature or planeswalker. We typically have a lot of sacrifice fodder because of Plum, so that's fine. Get another body, just make something bigger, and remove a thing. Most of the time, these cards are here to enable Magecraft. You could also play Academic Probation, but I'm not going to craft it for a learn board. I'll probably pack it at some point and remove this card to put it in. So if you have that, remove the Introduction to Annihilation for a Academic Probation. I just don't think it's going to come up enough to be worth a rare wildcard spot. But yeah, if you have it, go for it. Alright, other new cards, we have the Silverquill Command. This is kind of like a powerful 4. It triggers Magecraft. It can give something flying, which can be a nice closer via a huge Lumimancer. We can reanimate most of our deck except for the Luris. We can draw, or we can remove something like with Hexproof or Indestructible, pretty much. But the sacrifice can be tricky if the opponent has a wide board. I think it's worth playing with. It's very powerful in this deck, mostly because our 1 and 2 mana cards that we reanimate are very integral to our strategy. The last new card that isn't the Snarl is Show of Confidence. Only 1 copy because it's kind of a finisher. When you cast the spell, you get to copy it for each other instant or sorcery you've cast this turn, and you may choose new targets for the copies. So this basically is just another way to trigger Magecraft a million more times than you already have, and while you don't get to put the counters on everything, you are just trying to pop off with the Lumimancer and Lightscribe, and the counters and Vigilance can help. We also have, for not new cards, Defiant Strike, just a cheap cantrip that buffs your creature, triggers Magecraft. The Dog to protect our important creatures like Lumimancer, Lightscribe, and Spirit. Bloodchief's Thirst because we are in best of one, so I'm expecting a lot of races, and a Bloodchief's Thirst to kill a thing, pump our creatures, and trigger Magecraft can be really key. We have, I think that's actually it for the main deck. Yeah, I've covered it all. We have a bunch of DFCs because we are a Luris deck, meaning our curve is very low, so we can afford a couple more tap lands in it, or especially later on, and the fact that these can be protection spells or removal spells in our mana base is very key. If you don't like that, you can obviously cut them and run more basics, but I think this is a good split. One of these, it comes in untapped and it can reanimate a lot of our decks. They're really good in Luris decks. I'm playing a castle as well because you want 10 plains or swamps to reveal for the snarls. So if you're going to cut to add castles, you have to cut from the DFC mana base. So we dropped an Awakening, put in a Lock-the-Wane for the situations where we're top decking, Shelter to protect our important creatures, and Takedown as a removal spell. All of these things trigger Magecraft, which is something else to note. So that's going to be it for the list, guys. It will be in the description down below, as always. And if you like the deck, be sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. It motivates me to make more content. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Let's get into some games. Okay, we're going to need some spells, but we have all the key pieces. So as long as we can start drawing some actual spells, we're chilling. Now, we have no spells, so I'm not exactly excited to run out the Lumimancer. Let's just get the Savior down. And go from there. Opponents on a plains, we're going to see their Lumimancer. We see a Guide Mother. Okay, interesting. Am I willing to trade here? I don't think so. We're going to make so many flyers anyways. And while we might have been able to sneak through 1 point of damage, I don't think it's worth it. Double Clarion Spirit can be disgusting. So we need a lot of things. We need some lands, we need some instants and sorceries. Opponents on that learn. Okay. Okay, so maybe they're on the mono-white version. See what you got. Light of Hope, okay, just big Guide Mother. Cool. Oh, they just put a counter on it. They didn't even fetch anything from their learn board. Okay. And we draw land, but it is tapped, which is fine. I'd rather have tap land than no land. We'll get down a second Clarion Spirit to be able to go disgustingly wide. And play our Kabira Plateau. So, again, we haven't actually drawn any instants or sorceries minus the Kabira Takedown. So these Magecraft cards aren't looking super exciting just yet. But it looks like we're both on cheap white-ish aggro decks, which is pretty cool. Shelter in the yard. Well, how did that even get there? Alright, never mind. Cool. Yeah, Guide Mother hits for 3. If this becomes a problem, we just have to hold back some spirits. We're going to be able to double spell for sure. Ooh. It's pretty nasty. Alright, so what's the plan? I guess we Lumimancer plus Humiliate because we didn't draw land. Or do you want to attack first? I suppose we want the counter, right? I don't think the stats are necessarily going to matter, but we can do this pre-combat. I mean, the stats on the Lumimancer. I just want my spirits first before they interact in any way. And I can go for a Light Scribe. Oh man, do we? And just hold back. And then go and hit him with some crazy damage, especially if we draw on tap land. Just we pump everything. Alright. Let's set up some more. I don't think they're pressuring us to warrant actually throwing our spirits to this Usher of the Fallen. But maybe they do when we just chump block with a Selfless Savior. I don't even think that's worth it. I think we're about to hit them so hard next turn that we can just chill. Especially with untapped literally any land. I mean, the Snarls don't come in untapped right now, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. Maybe I am playing this too defensively. I just kind of want to pop off with Magecraft, and they're not interacting with my board very much. Yeah. So we can do that. And the opponent's definitely going to miss, or not hit that land drop. Okay, they don't miss a land, but that's fine. Defiant Strike. So opponent looks to be like a Magecraft deck, but they haven't actually drawn any Magecrafty things. Lots of learning without any actual learn board. There are plenty of commons. They should just put them in there. Am I going to take 7? Yes, I am. And they just scoop. Oh man, we're going to hit them. They know we're just going to hit them disgustingly hard next turn. And like, okay, so I can play Humiliate even on an empty hand, trigger Magecraft, and just make a million more tokens and attack. And even if we want to wait some more, let's say we didn't draw something good, or we want to wait for them to buy this Lurrus, we could just play the Light Scribe, attack with these ground creatures, and hold back 2 blockers here, chump, and then do the whole thing next time. I don't know, I just think we're so advantaged in this game, and they should just really be adding a learn board here. Okay, we have the Clarion Spirit, so I think it's fine. Not a perfect hand, but better than nothing against mono white. Nice. So we go for the Snarl on turn 1. We could have also just played Takedown, but we have plenty of lands. I also just cut some lands, not some lands. We cut some of these DFCs because I was drawing way too many tap lands in spots where I needed untap lands, and in best of 3 that's less of a problem, but in best of 1 you really need to hit your land drops like immediately. Okay. Speaker does speaker things. So I can exile it right now. And I honestly just think that's the play. There was no reason to think too much about it. We could also try to get more value with double Clarion Spirit, but I think this is fine. We're gonna go counter here. What do we want? I think we want Necrotic Fumes, just as another removal spell. And then we can put this on white. Hold this in case we draw another Snarl. Vanishing versus you. Make the 1/1, which is also why we played this. Basically, the concern is if they have a Priest, then they get to attack and gain up to 27 life, and then we're in trouble. Okay, they have Dog, and they just scoop. Vanishing verse, way too OP. No joke. Alright, let's go. Pretty solid hand. Again, we're going to need some more ways to trigger Magecraft, but I think that's fine. Alright, let's get you down. Nice 1 mana 0/1, of course. The appropriate stat line. Alright, what are we going to see? Nothing? We see nothing? I think I should have played land before I did that. Attack for 0. In case they want to interact with it in any way, we can bluff a Defiant Strike. And fire Prophecy. That's a bit unfortunate. I did want this to stick, especially with Plum. But it's okay, we couldn't have known we were going to draw it. Cultivate. Uh-oh, Teamer Control. Now this thing can go way over the top of our deck. Punished running Snarls. So it's not a great spot to be in. We have to start casting spells, and Plum without sack fodder isn't ideal. Okay, we see a Goldspan Dragon. Okay, so they're gonna start taking extra turns soon. Another Plum. Another Snarl, I mean. Alright, well we've hit sort of fail state where I don't exactly want to sacrifice these creatures, so we're gonna draw. We can't even play Show of Confidence. But that might be good next turn. Let's just get in for a big chunk of damage. Play out other Lumimancer and Snarl, okay. So I could have also played like Dog or other Lumimancer and gotten double triggers, pushed through even more damage, and that might have been good. So how in trouble I am if they cast extra turn? Typhoon? Alright, that's not ideal. And they have 4 mana, so definitely not ideal. So like a cheap cantrip would be nuts. Okay, they make a 3/3. To buy Luris, we draw you a little bit late. So we can go like pro blue, copy, get in for 1 million, then play Savior Pass. Seems okay. We go pro blue. We go Show of Confidence. Here. We just killed him. I think we just killed him. Yep, and now they're dead. Yes! We pop off. We did it. Alright, so for those of you that don't see the lethal here, so they can't block this one, so they have to block the 9-1, and we hit them for 16 right here. Easy. Yo, these things go hard, especially after a couple copies. It's just disgusting. There's no creature. If one of these was like a Light Scribe or a Lumimancer, I'd keep, but we have to find our creatures. Alright, there's a creature. Actually, we need this for the Castle Tenter untapped. We'll drop that off. Ah, dog. Nice turn 1 play. Okay, we have dog into a Light Scribe. These plums are looking weird. They might just be 2 mana draw card. Cobra. Okay. You know what? I'm going to offer this trade. If you want it, you can have it. Yep, didn't think so. Okay. So we have the Light Scribe. Now we just have to find more ways to pop off. Is the opponent going to offer me a trade? No, they're not. Okay. Double Light Scribe. Before I do that, I'm going to attack. Do we plum? Just push in some damage? Or do we want to set up more Light Scribe? I think we just set up more Light Scribe. We play this out first because we might draw another Snarl, in which case we would want to reveal a Plains. What's up with the opponents today, guys? I can't get any full games. There's so much early scooping. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so we can't keep a 1-lander. Alright, that's actually a lot better. Let's drop off Show of Confidence. It's more of a finisher than anything, and we don't have any actual Magecraft spells yet. Or creatures. So we just kind of want to chill out, make a million little 1/1 flyers with Clarion Spirit. Put this on black for the same reason that we expressed earlier, if in case we draw more Snarls. And we're just going to pass. Chill out. We see a Hagra Blood Pit, so maybe mono black. Or Dimir, it's another fair one. Okay, that's a lot of land. So we can try to hit something off the Clarion Spirit. I just think we attack here. And then probably buy Luris. Go for a Thought Thief. Okay. So it's Rogues. It is Rogues. So what could I even draw for 1 mana? Nothing really, right? So I guess we take the L on the Savior. I could let combat happen, it's fine. I'm gonna do this now because we're gonna actually end up playing the Bloodchief's Thirst to take this out. Okay, make another 1/1. So I guess this all works out okay. We're gonna need to stop flooding. This is not good. We have Luris at least, but like, Buying lures on 4 is a little sketch, especially when our hand should do so much for us. God, look at the flood, guys. That's it. We're buying lures and passing. I'm not attacking into a potential other Thought Thief, and this time it's Omen of the Sea. Okay, weird rogues deck. Sure, 2 to the top. Please, no more lands. Please. Okay, that's something. That is not a land. Do you resolve? In other words, please resolve. Oh boy. At least we get to hold open Vanishing Verse, right? I could have also just attacked and seen if they wanted to block, but I was expecting a drown over anything. This, to be fair, is a weird rogues player, but it does look more like Dimir control than anything after all. I'm not even sure what's going on. Thank you. Thank you, Castle Lochthwain. I'm actually so happy I added it. If we're gonna draw land, it might as well be this one. Okay. We could draw at instant speed and still hold up in verse, which is really good. Bounce my token. Sure. Could have exiled it to kill the borrower, but I want them to spend the 3 mana to cast it. Slither Wisp. No, you don't deal with Slither Wisp. God, alright. Do we try to draw a Heartless Act? Sure. Another Clarion Spirit's pretty nice, though. We take a bit of damage to do so, but I think that's okay. So that's why they're awkward rogues. They're not, like, exclusively rogues. They're like the mutate kind of flash Slither Wispy rogues, which I made a video on a very similar deck before. But yeah, Vanishing Verse unfortunately does not deal with our boy the Slither Wisp here. That's a lot of Clarion Spirits. So we attack. Let's play this pre-combat in case I need to play a Vanishing Verse. And you know what? We're gonna full commit. We're gonna full send all of these boys. What you got? Ambush block? They can flash in the Borrower, but it doesn't do anything except draw them a card and drain me. Another Slither Wisp, okay. Ouchies. I mean, Borrower is kind of whatever. It dies to... It doesn't block well. Alright, we have to be careful for these drains. Alright. So we're at a weird kind of race parity. All of these Clarion Spirits are really nice. Especially if we can draw, like, more gas off the top. How do you want to attack? No attacks. I think I'd rather save this to double spell than anything. We have the mana, so as long as we draw like that, we're in a good spot. So we can return the dog, make them sack something, or we can draw make them sack something. They'd sack the borrower, so we're going to start here. Exiling it, make them sacrifice a Slither Wisp instead. And if they want to protect their borrower, like, that's okay. They drown one of my Clarion Spirits. Alright. I can actually reanimate it, which is pretty funny. So do you let that go? If we had another spell to cast at instant speed, they'd be a little bit punished. Alright. Command. Okay, what are we doing? We're making them sack something. Can't have these around for too long. And let's say I make this thing a 3 powered. So I hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not lethal. So we do that, and we reanimate. Another Clarion Spirit. We make even more flyers. I could have reanimated Dog, but this might get countered anyways. And I kind of want to be in a spot where I can go like Defiant Strike into another cheap spell. Maybe draw a cantrip off my castle kind of thing. They have another Drown, okay. But we do make a fair amount of flyers here. If they want to block with both Slitherwisps, so be it. They scribe before making that call, which is fair. Because if they don't block, then they're going down to 2, and then they're dead in the air. So we'll see. Close game. Good game. Not a very Magecrafty game, but a Clarion Spirit game, which is really cool. I actually love this card. One to the top. Ooh, they're chumping. Oh, they're chumping, alright. Or trading. So they're not dead next turn. And we have lost our Spirit Army. But they've lost their Wisps, which is their main source of card advantage. Hardcast Rider. Humiliate, okay. So we do this now. Are they going to counter it, or am I going to see the hand? What's it going to be? And we get the counter, which is really nice. They counter it? Okay, that's completely fine. That's a lot of drowns, by the way. Let's draw now. See what we hit. If we find land, whatever, we'll just play it. Could be our takedown. We're not going to play that. We're going to hold that. Opponent's going to go up to 4, and then they're technically dead on board again. But yeah, that's a good one to have. It's a removal spell for the Rider or whatever else they might play. Hagler Mauling on one of these. Okay, what else you got? Cool. Up to 4, so they're not technically dead on board anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm going to send this now so I can draw off the castle and take less damage. Counter. Okay. Alright. Let's draw. There's plenty of 2-mana plays in the deck. We draw land. That's unfortunate. Alright, but if they don't have anything, they're dead. Yes. Okay, so they lifelink back up to 3 and we just kill them with the spirits. Whew, that was a close one. Yeah, I definitely think it's correct to draw there. We have like a million 1 and 2 drops and a million 1 and 2 mana plays. So we try to hit something sorcery speed to do. It might have even been correct to lock Dwayne during combat in case we would hit Defiant Strike. Actually, that was definitely the play, but alas, we do what we can. It was still a pretty good game. Alright guys, and we are back. So I ended up cutting 1 shelter and 1 takedown and just adding 2 more basic planes, and the deck functioned way better. In a couple matchups, like around the end, I did flat out just a little bit, but Castle makes that a lot better, and if you really want to, you can probably cut this Awakening and put 2 more castles in, or another castle in, sorry, to kind of alleviate the flooding situation, because I do think hitting untapped lands is a lot more important consistently in best of 1, because you need answers, and especially when you're running a card like Clarion Spirit, you need to be able to double spell on time. Like I lost a game against Mono Red that I didn't show on camera because it was literally, I didn't draw any basics. It was tapped takedown, tapped shelter, tapped snarls, tapped everything, and I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I cut 1 of each, added 2 more planes, and every game after that went super smoothly, as you guys could have seen afterwards. So we didn't have any crazy Magecraft pop-offs today, but I think that's okay. We had 1 game where we really did, and we just popped off in 1 turn and killed the opponent with Lumomancer, but it also goes to show you the power of just sort of like a mid-rangey double spell Clarion Spirit thing. And I think that that's what makes this deck so powerful. You can pop off and just be hyper aggressive and kill your opponents, but even if you don't get those super aggressive Lumomancer, Light Scribe, Spirit hands with like Defiant Strikes and Plumb the Forbiddens, you can still win games. So with that in mind, deck list will be in the description down below as always. I'm going to check out here and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.